Hey everybody, welcome back to Easy Breezy. Today we're going to continue on our 318 repower build. We got last video, we tore it all apart, got all the sheet metal, the motor, and the wiring out of it. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take it outside, give it a quick pressure wash, and get this thing cleaned up, get it ready for paint. And then I will show you guys what motor we're actually putting into it. Like I said, it's going to be a 23 horse Kohler V-twin this time. We're not going with an opposed twin. So hopefully it makes more power. It is a used motor that I have here at the shop. And you know what? Nothing to it but to do it, and let's get her done. All right, so we got it all cleaned up, and so to give you guys kind of a look what we're working with here. Transmission actually came really clean. I'm very surprised, very happy about that. I was going to pull the transmission, but decided not to. And realistically, if the camera would focus, come on, there you go. I don't have any leaks, so that is great. Sorry about the camera going in and out of focus, but here's the motor that we are going to be putting into it. Now, I'm waiting on some parts for it. We are going to have to make an adapter right here because the old motor, the flywheel, stuck out about this much. So we are going to make an adapter from here to where the drive shaft is going to mount. So if you are doing this exact same thing, you are going to have to make an adapter for it. This motor was originally, I believe, out of a zero-turn, commercial zero-turn. So I got it. A lot of times when it gets to be too many hours, they just trade them in. So yeah, we got that motor. So what we're going to do now is get back on the frame, start getting it wrapped to get it painted, and make this thing look good. All right, well, it's time to throw some paint. Again, remember, I am not an expert at this, so just trying to make it look good. Put a thin coat on first. All right, so we got the frame painted, and I actually had to do a lot of things off camera before I could actually finish doing the paint, because when you're switching over to a Kohler command, this does not fit on the flywheel. It is a smaller bolt pattern. So what I ended up doing is the Kohler command that I had a flywheel drive shaft that bolted onto it. And I actually milled it down to fit in here, and we're actually going to weld it onto here once the motor is set in here. I will actually put a picture up right now of what that looks like. Also, it does have a smaller mounting bolt pattern for the motor. So what I ended up doing is I ended up making this plate that sits right in here with the original bolt pattern. The front has slides. That's going to go into these holes here. And then I ground the heads off and welded these bolts. So these are going to go through the motor, the PTO side of the motor first, and then we're going to drop this motor in here, and then we can bolt up the rest. I wanted to make sure we did have some adjustment so that the drive shaft, we can weld that on to the shaft that I just made for it, and make sure this thing is correct, because I want to do it once and that's it. So let's get this bolted on the motor, and we'll be back putting the motor in. All right, so carrying this motor over here. Let's get her set in. I do recommend doing this with 2 people, not just yourself. But right now, I don't have 2 people, and it is just myself. So, gotta make it work somehow. So we gotta get that drive shaft lined up. All right. There we go, got her lined up. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera. Well, something's not lining up. Alrighty, so I made a mistake and miscalculation. You know, the whole saying of measure twice and cut once. For me, it's more like measure 18 times, cut twice. So I think I got it in there now. So what I ended up having to do is I had to move the motor back on the plate. I actually needed to move it back another 4 inches. And so I couldn't utilize the front 2 motor bolts in the frame for the this motor. So what I ended up having to do is weld 4 studs in that plate to bolt the motor down, and then we'll use those 4 outer holes, the 2 in the front and the 2 in the back, to actually mount on the frame. So we got it set in here now. Let's get the drive shaft on her. All right, got that on. Let's get one of the front bolts in. Actually, I think I'm going to drop the bolts in through here so that it is nutted down below. Actually, that's not going to work because the motor's in the way. So we'll have to run the bolt up through the bottom, but I'm hoping it is not too long. And it is. So I'll be right back. Gotta grab a couple more different bolts and get back to bolting her on. All right, so I got the right bolts now. So we will run those up. I'm putting washers on both sides. I like using the washers because part of what a washer does, it distributes the weight from more than just where the nut is making contact to whatever you're bolting it to. It kind of distributes it out just a little bit. Not a lot, of course, so it doesn't make a big difference. I guess some people may argue with me about that. Okay, we got that bolt in. That one lines up. Looks like we got everything lining up, which is actually great. It's been a lot of work to build the adapters for this when you don't generally do metal fabrication. All this stuff was just done with a grinder, drill, simple shop tools. So, but I think that's where we're going to end this video. So if you guys like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and make sure you share it around. You never know. Somebody might be looking to do something like this, and I haven't seen many people take these Kohler commands and throw them on these 318s. Generally, it's going to be a Briggs & Stratton Vanguard, from what I've seen a lot online. It's a great motor, but like I said, this is a motor I had around the shop, and I thought, why not try to make it work? Actually, it's not too hard to do. You can do it in your home. Like I said, with some basic, 4.5-inch grinder, a drill, a couple files, and some time. All y'all can do this. It's real simple. So, like I said, if you like it, share it around. But you know what? We'll see you guys next time. And remember, stay out of trouble even though it ain't always fun. And we'll see you guys later.